Why am I not losing weight? I'm breastfeeding. That is something that I hear so often from moms. And I'm here to tell you it is a myth that breastfeeding alone will guarantee weight loss, and that if you breastfeed, it's guaranteed that you're just going to experience really rapid weight loss. That's a myth. So there are so many moms that come to me and say, I'm breastfeeding and the weight isn't flying off, or it did the first time around, but now that I've had my second or third baby, it's just different, this experience. Or even some moms that come to me and say, I am literally gaining weight while breastfeeding. Like, how can this be? And there's a lot of reasons why. And one reason is because we are typically ravenous while breastfeeding because our calorie needs are increased to support milk supply and healing postpartum. There's a lot of other reasons why you might be struggling with your weight, even if you're breastfeeding, even if maybe breastfeeding alone worked for you last time for weight loss. So, hey there, if you're new here, I'm Brooke. I'm a registered dietitian. I'm a lactation counselor. I'm a mom of three little babies, and I'm still breastfeeding my little one. And I helped thousands of moms reach their healthiest weight and feel like themselves again without sacrificing their favorite foods or their milk supply. And on my channel, I make postpartum nutrition and breastfeeding less complicated so you can get results. And I post new videos every Tuesday. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell notification so that you can be notified whenever I post a new video. And again, before we get started, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button if you're going to take action on what we cover today, so you can see how many other moms are supporting you on this journey. All right, so there is a lot of reasons why so many moms struggle with their weight even while breastfeeding. Some big picture things that might be going on is your metabolism may have slowed down for whatever reason. This could be based on, restricting calories heavily. This could be just your body composition if you're not carrying enough muscle mass on you. You could be experiencing hormone imbalances, which definitely our hunger and fullness hormones are impacted by sleep deprivation, which, when we have newborns, we're most likely to be sleep deprived in this stage of life. High stress and those high cortisol levels, which can happen postpartum if we don't have a good support system, if we have a colicky baby, if we have a baby with a lot of medical needs. Like, there's a lot of reasons why. And then again, just becoming a new parent, especially for the first time, it's a big adjustment for your life. It can be stressful. Bringing your family, like expanding your family from one kid to two kids, that was definitely a challenge for us to manage it all. And then going from two kids to three kids was also stressful in its own way. Like, every family is unique. So that's a lot of reasons why so many moms struggle with hormone imbalances postpartum. And then if our blood sugar is dysregulated, that can also create more hormone imbalances, slower metabolism. And then if we have nutrient deficiencies, which we're most likely to have nutrient deficiencies postpartum because birth and breastfeeding deplete our bodies so much. And so this can lead to exhaustion and mood swings. And then those things can make nourishing ourselves more difficult. It can make exercising more difficult and all of these other healthy habits. So all of these things are really intertwined, and there's not necessarily one specific reason alone why you might be struggling. There's likely multiple factors involved. But the good news is, once you work on addressing the root cause of one of these things, it'll become easier to implement the other things. So that's the great news, is we don't have to focus on trying to shift all of these things all at once. It's really about focusing on how can I shift one of these things to make my life easier, and then I can focus on the other one. So again, a lot of moms have that mindset and mentality of, oh, if I breastfeed, the weight will fly right off, so I can just eat whatever I want. And that's not the best mentality to have. Again, we don't want to have fear around food, or, never allow ourselves to eat dessert ever again. But we also need to understand how our body and our metabolism works. So breastfeeding does burn calories, right? We are making milk, and that is energy expenditure that our body is doing. If you are an overproducer, which I was for my first son. So my first son, there were some days I was pumping like 40 ounces a day, and he was a preemie baby going through open heart surgery. Like, his needs were not as high as a typical baby. He was like 5 pounds when or he was less than 5 pounds at birth. I think by the time that we got to open heart surgery, he was 10 pounds, and that was at like 4 months old. Like, I had a little baby and I was an overproducer. And I noticed I was so ravenous all the time. And it was because my body was making so much milk and my body needed extra calories to continue making that milk. And so for him, I was eating probably close to 3,000 calories a day and I dropped weight really quickly. But I also didn't gain a ton of weight with that pregnancy because there were so many complications with him. I delivered early. So that was its own ordeal. But again, there are so many factors involved, and it's not just this guarantee that you're going to lose weight just because you're breastfeeding. But it is a guarantee that if you are breastfeeding or pumping, your body is burning extra calories and energy expenditure. Now, what we want to do if we're breastfeeding is make sure that we are eating enough calories to support our milk supply and not lose our milk supply. So I did another video all about your calorie needs while breastfeeding. So if you haven't watched that yet, go watch that on this channel and I kind of break that down. But the calorie quality is really important. So how many grams of protein are we eating and how many grams of healthy fats are we eating? What types of fats are we eating? How much fiber are we eating? What kinds of carbs are we eating? Are they all processed carbs or are they high fiber carbs? All of these things play a huge role in our weight loss postpartum. And I know that this can feel really frustrating that every postpartum experience can be different when it comes to weight. So, again, with my first son, I dropped weight really quickly. I wasn't trying, I wasn't even focused on losing weight at all. And it just kind of happened really fast. And so I just kind of assumed when I had my second two kids that it'd be the same thing. And it wasn't. When I weaned my second son, I actually gained some weight back. And with my daughter, this was very interesting. So the first 6 months postpartum with my daughter, of course, I was losing weight because I gave birth to her. So I like lost that dramatic weight right away, like the water weight and the fluids and the placenta and the baby, all of that, like that. But then I noticed from like 6 weeks postpartum to 6 months postpartum, I was losing weight, but it was slower than my other kids. And I was like, this is kind of frustrating because I'm doing all the right things. Like I'm doing everything that I should be doing. Obviously, the sleep deprivation was still kind of a factor because she's still not sleeping through the night. Yes, we need to sleep train. I know. But, you know, it was like, okay, I'm doing all these things. And it was a little bit frustrating because I'm like, I know what I should be doing. I know that I'm doing all the right things. However, from 6 months postpartum to 1 year postpartum, things really shifted for my weight in a way that I've never seen like this dramatically before. And the funny thing is, I'm still doing all the things that I was doing in the first 6 months postpartum, but my weight loss really stalled and plateaued from like 3 to 6 months postpartum. It slowed down. It was like very slow. But then from 6 months to a year postpartum, it really sped up. And it just goes to show that weight loss while breastfeeding, while postpartum, it's not linear. If we have something going on with stress or sleep deprivation, that can, of course, slow things down. But for most moms, some of the common mistakes that I'm seeing moms make is their blood sugar is really dysregulated. They're not eating enough protein and fiber. They're not strength training at all. And all of these things are going to play a role in our weight loss journey and our body composition postpartum. So some things that actually help us if you are, you're frustrated that the weight's not coming off as fast as you want, or maybe like it came off faster for your other kids, or you're just like, I'm gaining weight, what's going on? There's some things that we can do. First and foremost, getting labs done can be really beneficial. Do you have any specific nutrient deficiencies? What is your blood sugar looking like? What's your cholesterol looking like? Even in our accelerated program, we are running GI map tests on moms, and we're finding if they have anything going on in their gut, any infections, which, hey, surprising, you can have infections in your gut and not have a ton of symptoms, which we are starting to see more. And then we also do the Dutch test, which is a hormone test. And so we can kind of see like what your hormones are doing throughout the day. The more data we can get, the clearer the next steps are going to be. So anytime you can get any type of testing done, that's a huge, huge, huge help. But then even those regular lab values like our thyroid, our cholesterol, all of these things, nutrient deficiencies, these things can be really helpful because if you are so deficient in a vitamin or mineral, this can be why it's harder for you to lose weight. If all of a sudden postpartum you start developing hypothyroidism, and you have no idea, then that can be, related to weight gain or struggles with your weight. And so then we need to treat that root cause issue. If you have PCOS and you don't know, or it's going undiagnosed and your blood sugar is all over the place, that is going to make it way harder to lose weight. And so again, the labs are a great starting point because then we can really identify where is your root cause. Some of you might know, just based on me talking from this episode, some of your root causes. If you're like, yeah, I'm going to bed real late, I'm scrolling on my phone till midnight, and then my baby's waking up. All right, can we stop scrolling super late until midnight? Because that alone is going to help cravings. It's going to help your hunger and fullness hormones. It's going to help you feel way more in control around food by just going to bed earlier. Some of you might know that you're not eating enough protein, or you track it for the next week and realize like you're not eating enough protein and fiber. There you go. Then you know that's something that you need to work on. Again, nutrient deficiencies we can do through lab testing, but also if you're exhausted, even though your baby's sleeping through the night, you're probably deficient in something. It could be vitamin D, it could be iron. If you know right now that you are sitting at a desk all day and you're not walking, you're not getting a lot of steps, okay, then can we start moving our body more? Same thing with strength training. If you know that you're just not doing any right now, can we start one day a week? And then can we build upon that? And I know you might be hearing this list and thinking like, Brooke, you don't get it. I'm exhausted and I'm tired and I have these little kids and I don't know how I'm supposed to do all this. And I've had these conversations with so many moms. And the great thing is the expectation is that you don't have to do it all right now. You don't. For me, I was doing all of these things pretty consistently, not perfectly, but pretty consistently while pregnant. And so when you're doing these things while pregnant, it is so much easier to maintain this postpartum. Like I've been strength training since I was 15 consistently. So that's over 20 years that like it is part of my day. It is part of my routine. I got a personal trainer when I was 15. I was an athlete in college and in high school. So for me, that's just, it's been easy for me to maintain that. Drinking water, also a habit that I built and established back when I was an athlete in high school. So those are things that I don't really have to put too much like focus or emphasis on doing. It's just something that's part of my day. So you get to decide what from this list are a few things that I really need to shift and want to shift to feel better. Pick one, literally one. Pick one, focus on that until you get that down, until it becomes a habit, until it becomes something that you are doing consistently, and then you can move on to the next one. So you do not have to implement all of these at once. In fact, if you try to implement all of these at once and you're not doing any of these right now, you will burn out. You will, that is like setting yourself up for failure especially as a mom of a newborn. Like we do not want to set ourselves up for failure. So I just want you to know that you are not broken. It's just that there's probably a root cause reason going on. And we just need to identify what that reason is if you're gaining weight or if you're really struggling with your weight while breastfeeding. And a lot of times once we just do a little bit of digging, we're able to identify and assess like, hey, this is what's going on. And here are the steps that we can take to solve that. So that is what I do inside of the postpartum shift. And like I said, in the postpartum shift accelerated, we dive into those labs as well. So if you're interested in that, you can check out the links below. And when you take action on what you've learned, be sure to come back to this video, share your results, or even just share while you're watching this, what's the one thing that you're going to focus on over the next week or two so that we can cheer you on. And be sure to subscribe to this channel, hit that bell notification. That way you are notified every Tuesday when a new video drops live. And be sure to come hang out with me over on Instagram at Nutrition for Mamas. I love hearing from you guys. Like the podcasters, the people who watch YouTube, the people who listen to my podcast, you guys are my favorite people. Listen, you are my favorite. I love hearing from you. I love hearing about your experience, what episodes really hit home. I've been getting a lot of feedback this week from some recent podcast episodes, and I truly love talking to you guys in the DMs about that. So definitely send me a message if this hit home for you. And you can check out my free class below. That's a great resource for you. It's going to walk you through the 3-step system that I use with my postpartum clients. I also give away some of my favorite free guides at the end of that class. So if you want some snack guides, if you want a no prep nutrition guide, 7 meals under 7 minutes, like all these guides, I am giving those away for free in my class when you attend. So you can go ahead and click that link below. And remember, Mom, you deserve to feel good again.